Okay, we're live. We're just not professional. That's all there is to it. We're in the book of Job, and tonight we're going to go through 6 through 12. So if you need a recap at this point, we're kind of so far into the discussion, but we're just going to start with chapter 6. We left off with the first of Job's three friends. There's a fourth guy that we'll address later on. He comes in, he's kind of a mysterious guy, Elihu. He comes in later on. But the main three are Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. And so we're going to go into Bildad and Zophar. But we just got done when we left off with Eliphaz, his spiel to Job, basically saying that he had this word from, the Spirit came over him and he had this word from God that Job must have some hidden sin. And so he's basically lying, saying that he's prophesying, but he's lying. And, going on this long, eloquent speech, twisting the knife. Job is, I can't imagine being in that low of a point that Job is at. So this, chapter 6, is basically Job's rebuttal to Eliphaz. We're going to go through 6 through 12, and we're just going to kind of blow through. But there's some things that we'll stop and pause that will be worth it. And if you guys can hang through, I know we're getting into kind of the weeds where there's just a lot of talk between the friends. But if you can hang with it, it's going to be worth the journey, because there's some things that are really fascinating in this book. Not just this story, but things that have to do with creation and science and things that are revealed in the oldest book of the Bible that most people don't realize are there. Okay, so 6 verse 1, then Job answered and said, "Oh, that my grief were fully weighed, and my calamity laid with it on the scales. For then it would be heavier than the sand of the sea. Therefore my words have been rash. For the arrows of the Almighty are within me, and my spirit drinks in their poison. The terrors of God are arrayed against me. Does the wild donkey bray when it has grass? Or does the ox low over its fodder? Can flavorless food be eaten without salt? Or is there any taste in the white of an egg? My soul refuses to touch them. They are loathsome food to me. Oh, that I might have my request, and that God would grant me the thing that I long for, that it would please God to crush me, that he would loose his hand and cut me off. Then I would still have comfort, though in anguish I would exult. He would not spare, for he has concealed the words of the Holy One. What strength do I have that I should hope? And what is my end that I should prolong my life? Is my strength the strength of stones? Or is my flesh bronze? Is my help not within me? And is success driven from me? To him who is afflicted, kindness should be shown by his friend. For though he forsakes the fear of the Almighty, my brothers have dealt deceitfully like a brook, like the streams of the brooks that pass away, which are dark because of the ice, and into which the snow vanishes. When it is warm, they cease to flow, and when it's hot, they vanish from their place. The paths of their way turn aside. They go nowhere, and they perish. The caravans of Tema look, the travelers of Sheba hope for them, but they are disappointed because they were confident, and there they are confused. So what he's saying, there's a lot of poetry in the book of Job, but what he's saying is that his friends are wells without water. They're dry springs. Like it's this long poetic speech that you guys are doing me no good. Yeah. Doing me no good. Showing up with no comfort at all. For now you are nothing. You see terror and are afraid. Did I ever say, bring something to me, or offer a bribe for me from your wealth, or deliver me from the enemy's hand, or redeem me from the hand of the oppressor? Teach me, and I'll hold my tongue. Cause me to understand wherein I have erred. How forceful are right words, but what does your arguing prove? Do you intend to rebuke my words, and that speeches of a desperate one which are as wind? So he's saying, tell me what's wrong. I don't know what it is. I've confessed and made my sacrifices already. So he's going back and forth between responding to Eliphaz and basically the lot of them, and he's talking to God as well. You know, he goes into these desperate prayers along the way, but he's also saying, you guys are no help, you know, and if there's something, if there is a hidden sin, then God, please tell me what it is. I mean, he's sitting there with no answers. You know, it's like, if I've got some hidden sin that I have not accounted for, then let me know what it is. Yes, you overwhelmed the fatherless and you undermined your friend. Now, therefore, be pleased to look at me, for I would never lie to your face. Yield now, let there be no injustice. Yes, concede my righteousness still stands. Is there injustice on my tongue? Cannot my taste discern the unsavory? Is there not a time of hard service for man on the earth, and are not his days also like the days of a hired man? Like a servant who earnestly desires the shade, and like a hired man who eagerly looks for his wages. So I have been allotted months of futility, and wearisome nights have been appointed to me. When I lie down, I say, when shall I arise, and the night be ended? For I've had my fill of tossing till dawn. Boy, I understand that feeling in a different way, but obviously not as this bad. My flesh is caked with worms and dust. My skin is cracked and breaks out afresh. That is miserable, and I cannot imagine that kind of misery. Ugh. My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle and are spent without hope. Oh, remember that my life is a breath. My eye will never again see good. The eye of him who sees me will see me no more. While your eyes are upon me, I shall no longer be. As the cloud disappears and vanishes away, so he goes down to the grave, does not come up. He shall never return to his house, nor shall his place know him anymore. So all of that is basically means that he's given up. Like he's given up. He's like, oh, he doesn't understand why he's still alive, which that is completely understandable. I would feel the same way. He's like, why am I even still here? If you would only, Lord, if you'd only grant me the one thing I wish at this point is just loose your hand and cut me off. It's interesting the way he says that, if he would loose his hand and not actually, you know, smite him, but recognizing that it's God who sustains life. So he's asking, why are you still sustaining me? Let me die. Let me die is his prayer. Let me die. Yes, stop holding me up. Just let me go. Therefore, I will not restrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. Am I a sea or a sea serpent that you set a guard over me? When I say my bed will comfort me, my couch will ease my complaint, then you scare me with dreams and terrify me with visions, so that my soul chooses strangling and death rather than my body. I loathe my life. I would not live forever. Let me alone, for my days are but a breath. Wow, so it's just, oof. It's just so desperate. Leave me alone, for my days are just a breath. What is man that you should exalt him, that you should set your heart on him, that you should visit him every morning and test him with every moment? How long? Will you not look away from me and let me alone till I swallow my saliva? Have I sinned? What have I done to you, O watcher of men? Why have you set me as your target, so that I am a burden to myself? Why then do you not pardon my transgression and take away my iniquity? For now I will lie down in the dust, and you will seek me diligently, but I will no longer be. All right, so notes Satan is using the pain of Job's illness to afflict him, to use the comfort of his friends to irritate his soul, which this might be the worst of all. This part might truly be the worst of all, is his friends at this point. As if all of it's not bad enough. This is probably worse.
Like
and
you're already in now, yeah.
Yeah, you're already in such horrible, yeah. and to use the silence of God to assault his spirit and break his faith. I know. Ugh. So that's what Satan's plan is. But God is teaching Job some truths that he never knew before, to deepen his theology, to help him understand God and himself better. God's purpose was to answer Satan before the principalities and powers of the whole universe and prove him wrong, to prove Satan wrong. So the Lord's is going to answer Satan. That's his purpose is higher than what we even are aware of. So he is answering, this is, God is proving Satan wrong in all this. And also God intended to use this demonstration for all sufferers in the ages to follow, that he knows what he's doing even when we don't understand. Okay, now we're going to introduce Bildad. Bildad.
He sounds like a guy.
Do what?
What picture do you have for him? Let me see.
Here's the picture.
Okay.
Why? Why?
I'm wondering which way you picked each one.
Because also from a distance, if you look at this, all you see is the one creepy white eye coming out of it. And that's my view of him.
Get Fabio vibes.
Fabio vibes. He just
Lord of the Rings.
no.
Yeah, very Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
I like Pirate better.
Both. Okay.
Bildad's a little more brutal.
Okay. Let's go for it.
Then Bildad the Shuhite. I mean, poor Job, man. It's painful to read this because I feel so bad for this man. It's like it just gets worse. Bildad the Shuhite answered and said, "How long will you speak these things, and the words of your mouth be like strong wind? Does God subvert judgment, or does the Almighty pervert justice? If your sons have sinned against him, he's cast them away for their transgression. Or if you would earnestly seek God and make your supplication to the Almighty, if you were pure and upright, surely now he would awake for you and prosper your rightful dwelling place. Though your beginning was small, yet your latter end would increase abundantly." This is twice that they have rubbed it in Job's face that his kids died. And they're blaming him. Or that he's actually saying, well, maybe your kids did something. It's like they're just, ugh. "For inquire, please, of the former age, and consider the things discovered by their fathers. For we were born yesterday and know nothing, because our days on earth are a shadow. Will they not teach you and tell you and utter words from their hearts?" From their heart. So he's arguing that God can't do anything wrong. He's like, God can do no wrong. And that actually is true. That's what's so tricky about these arguments in Job, is the fact that they're actually not all wrong. It's just that they're not all right. So,
My nose is cold. Leave me alone.
okay, I didn't know what was going on over here. Okay. All right, I'll leave you alone. He's just saying God can do no wrong. God can do no wrong, so it must be you, Job, is basically what he's saying. Okay. Excuse me. Can the papyrus grow up without a marsh? Can the reeds flourish without water? When it is yet green and not cut down, it withers before any other plant. So are the paths of all who forget God, and the hope of the hypocrite shall perish, whose confidence shall be cut off, and whose trust is a spider's web. He leans on his house, but it does not stand. He holds it fast, but it does not endure. He grows green in the sun, and his branches spread out in the garden. His roots wrap around the rock heap and look for a place in the stones. If he is destroyed from his place, then it will deny him, saying, I have not seen you. Behold, this is the joy of his way. Out of the earth others will grow. Behold, God will not cast away the blameless, nor will he uphold the evildoers. He will yet fill your mouth with laughing and your lips with rejoicing. Those who hate you will be clothed with shame, and the dwelling place of the wicked will come to nothing. Okay, his argument is not wrong. This is the comment. It's incomplete. It's what he's left out that makes the difference. There are aspects of God and dimensions to his word which they had not seen. His argument is based on rigid theology. Nowhere in these arguments do these friends pray with Job. Not one time. They don't ever offer a prayer for him. They never ask God to open their minds.
Goodbye.
No more cake pops. No more cake pops. Y'all be quiet. They never ask God to open their minds and illuminate their understanding. Job continually prays to God throughout this book. So Job is the one who's continually entreating God. But these three friends, never, not one time. They never stop and ask. Never offer a prayer. Never, never just sit and, put their arm around the shoulder and pray. Never ask God to give them some understanding that maybe they don't have. They just assume they know everything. They have this very rigid theology and they just assume they know it all. So this is, he comes in, he's basically calling Job a hypocrite. And he does it in a really backhanded way. He's saying, you're just a hypocrite. It's like, that's what's wrong with you. This wouldn't have happened to you if you were really righteous, Job. You're never righteous to begin with. You're just a hypocrite. Then Job answered and said, truly I know it is so, but how can a man be righteous before God? If one wished to contend with him, he could not answer him one time out of 1,000. So, this is a comment. Job also has inadequate theology. He falls into the trap of accepting the premise that trouble only comes from sin. He would have analyzed other people's problems along the same line before his own trial began. In the dark hours of searching his heart, he had not been able to identify any sin with which he hadn't already dealt. So Job is basically falling into the same trap. He kind of is agreeing with them in a way. He's like, I know that's right. I know what you're saying is right. But who can contend with God? How can anybody be righteous before God at all? God is wise in heart and mighty in strength. Who has hardened himself against him and prospered? He removes the mountains and they do not know. When he overturns them in his anger, he shakes the earth out of its place and the pillars tremble. He commands the sun and it does not rise. He seals off the stars. He alone spreads out the heavens and treads on the waves of the sea. He treads on the waves of the sea. What does that foretell?
That's foretelling of Jesus walking on the water.
Foretelling of Jesus walking on the water. This is the only one place. There's a couple more places we're about to get into where there is a foreshadowing of Christ. Isn't that beautiful? He treads the waves of the sea and he makes the bear Orion and the Pleiades. Okay. These constellations are mentioned twice in Job. There are some astonishing discoveries mentioned in chapter 38 that was far ahead of modern astronomical knowledge, and we'll cover that later. So there's some things about the constellations in Job when God finally speaks and answers Job that are really astonishing for the day and time for them to be written down. Just while I'm thinking about it, in case you guys didn't know, is that the constellations originally told the story of the gospel, basically. They told the story of the Messiah, starting with Virgo, which is the virgin, all the way to Leo the lion. I think it goes, I don't know the signs very well, but it goes to Leo the lion, which is of course Christ. But the original meaning of the precession of the equinox, those constellations, the original meaning actually told the gospel stories. It was later on, it was perverted to and reinvented to become the astrological signs that people have today. So we'll go into that when we get to chapter 38. We'll circle back around to that. Okay. And the chambers of the south. He does great things past finding out. Yes, wonders without number. If he goes by me, I do not see him. If he moves past, I do not perceive him. If he takes away, who can hinder him? Who can say to him, what are you doing? God will not withdraw his anger. The allies of the proud lie prostrate beneath him. How then can I answer him and choose my words to reason with him? For though I were righteous, I could not answer him. I would beg mercy of my judge. If I called and he answered me, I would not believe that he was listening to my voice, for he crushes me with the tempest and multiplies my wounds without cause. He would not allow me to catch my breath, but fills me with bitterness. If it's a matter of strength, indeed he is strong. And if justice, who will appoint my day in court? Though I were righteous, my own mouth would condemn me. Though I were blameless, it would prove me perverse. I am blameless, yet I do not know myself. I despise my life. So he's basically saying, how can I possibly contend with God? And he's saying, even if he were blameless, his own mouth would betray him. He's saying he's basically saying there's no way to stand before a holy God. We'll talk a little bit about that again in a second. It is all one thing. Therefore I say he destroys the blameless and the wicked. If the scourge slays suddenly, he laughs at the plight of the innocent. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covers the faces of its judges. If not he, who else could it be? Now my days are swifter than a runner. They flee away. They see no good. They pass by like swift ships, like an eagle swooping on its prey. If I say I will forget my complaint, I will put off my sad face and wear a smile. I'm afraid of all my sufferings. I know that you will not hold me innocent. If I am condemned, why then do I labor in vain? If I wash myself with snow water and cleanse my hands with soap, yet you will plunge me into the pit, and my own clothes will abhor me. For he is not a man as I am, that I may answer him, and that we should go to court together. Nor is there any mediator between us, who may lay his hand on us both. Let him take his rod away from me, and do not let dread of him terrify me. Then I would speak and not fear him, but it is not so with me. So, Job is saying he needs a mediator. This whole thing, this whole trial is bringing him to the revelation that there is no way for him to stand before a holy God, even though he has done all of the stuff. He's made sacrifices for everything he can possibly think of, even for his kids and all this stuff. And he's very aware of the fact that he still could not stand before a holy God, and that he needs a mediator. He's like, how could I go to court with God? How could I stand in front of him? I need a mediator because I'm a man. Someone who could understand both himself and God, to bring them together.
Oh, like someone who's fully God and fully man?
Kind of like that. Kind of like someone who's fully God and fully man. So now we're seeing a glimpse of why God may be putting Job through this trial. Job is realizing the terrible gulf between man and God that must be bridged by another. This is something that in modern Western society, we have so lost the understanding of God's holiness. And, it's like we just, most churches, even in churches, we don't understand like the holiness of God and the reverence, the fear, the righteous fear of God. It's been lost. So Psalm 119:71 says, "It is good for me that I've been afflicted, that I may learn your statutes." We learn through suffering, and it's not pleasant, but it draws us into intimacy with God. So I'm going to let that sit for just a minute before we go on, because it's really true. We learn. I wish that weren't the case. but we learn through trials. I wish that were not the case, but dadgummit, if that's not the case for a human race, that's how we learn and grow is through trials, through sufferings and trials. And if we submit ourselves to the Lord and trust Him to walk us through whatever comes our way, then we will actually mature and He will give us hinds feet on high places. We'll be able to leap on the mountains. He doesn't bring us there for no reason. That's what the hinds feet on high places means, is to be able to be given the strength and agility to leap on mountains, to frolic and play in places where before you could never even make it. It's really true. Okay. There's a lot of messianic like foretelling in this, and now we're starting to see why. It's been a long journey to get to that one revelation, but now you can understand.
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. I think it's greatly spaced out.
Yeah, you're right. It's greatly spaced out. I don't know if we'll end up reading. I mentioned a while ago, so we're going to skip some in the middle, and I think that you were a little disappointed in that. I'm going to, as much as I can, I don't want it to be dry for 2 or 3 weeks of me just reading the same thing over and over.
No, I kind of like it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna get. Well, I'll figure out a way to like. But it's a lot of the book of Job is them going back and forth like this. Okay. But we're hitting the highlights. We're getting the flavor of these friends, and we do have to go through Elihu soon. And then once we get to the end of Job, there's so much cool stuff to go into. If you don't realize that there's dragons and dinosaurs in the Bible, we're about to discover them in the Bible. In the oldest book of the Bible, which is predates paleontology. No, they had no dog in this fight. No, they weren't trying to prove anything. They were just commenting on their life. Okay. My soul loathes my life. I will give free course to my complaint. I will speak to the bitterness of my soul, and I'll say to God, do not condemn me. Show me why you contend with me. Does it seem good to you that you should oppress me? That you should despise the work of your hands and smile on the counsel of the wicked? Oof. He's calling his friends wicked. It sounds like. Do you have eyes of flesh, or do you see as man sees? There are intonations here of a future incarnation of God in flesh. Do you have eyes of flesh, and do you see as man sees? So there will be a time when the Messiah comes, and he'll fulfill this. I've been thinking a lot this week about the cross and about the Garden of Gethsemane in that moment. I don't even have words for it. I don't know why I brought it up, because I don't know what to say about it. It's just a profound moment. Are your days like the days of a mortal man? And your years like the days of a mighty man? That you should seek for my iniquity and search out my sin? Although you know that I'm not wicked, and there is no one who can deliver me from your hand.
Is for self-righteous claim.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Your hands have made me and fashioned me, and an intricate unity. Yet you would destroy me. Remember, I pray, that you've made me like clay, that you would turn me into dust again. And will you turn me into dust again? Did you not pour me out like milk and curdle me like cheese? Clothe me with the skin and flesh and knit me together with bones and sinews. You have granted me life and favor, and your care has preserved my spirit. And these things you have hidden in your heart. I know that this was with you. If I sin, then you mark me, and will not acquit me of my iniquity. If I am wicked, woe to me. Even if I am righteous, I cannot lift up my head. I am full of disgrace. See my misery? If my head is exalted, you hunt me like a fierce lion, and again you show yourself awesome against me. You renew your witness against me and increase your indignation toward me.
Is,
Change.
can,
Go ahead. Yeah.
he's blaming God very slightly in all of these things.
You're right.
But go ahead.
Yeah.
It's turning to blame.
Unless he's addressing, no, you're right. He's talking to God.
Which is why I was wondering about the friend.
Which friend?
Just why they're saying that he's not all he sins, and like then Job, in my opinion, kind of does.
I think
Well, he's starting to.
yeah,
He's
kind of
starting to-
he's falling
yeah.
into their trap.
Yeah.
Their words
They're
have got him.
refining it out.
He-
It's pulling it out like dross.
yes, like dross. It's coming up like dross. That's exactly right. That's a good way to describe it.
Even though they're wrong,
Right.
it's shaking it and it's coming up.
Yes.
It's
like
oh, you're self-righteous.
Is he?
Yes.
Are they wrong? If they're shaking
wrong.
it out, then it was in there.
No,
Yeah.
they're wrong.
he's human.
But like,
But his actual
it's his
saying
heart
that you're
posture.
righteous though is a sin because you're not. Being self-righteous is a sin. We're only righteous because of Jesus. The righteousness we have is unearned, but so his sin is self-righteous, and then he starts to blame God. It's very gradual as the back and forth goes on. It's gradually he starts to turn the blame of his suffering to God, because then he's like, well, I've done nothing. You're doing this to me. You're doing this to me. I have not deserved this. You're doing this to me. I've done nothing to deserve it. You're doing this to me. I'm righteous. If I'm wrong, tell me, but you're doing this to me. It's slow, but
yeah.
it's going to get worse.
I think.
Isn't he being set up and trapped? Like he's being set up right now.
Well, they're
as a
they're-
test.
Yeah.
oh well, what by God and Satan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then his friends are only adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah, the friends are wrong. Yes, but this is a test of his faith for sure. Yeah.
So
but it's to reveal that all people are still sinners either way. Right.
I think I like that you brought up the dross, because I think it's the perfect visual for this, for what's happening with Job. So anyone who's not heard this before, because most of us have not done this, like, refined in a fire, a metal like silver. But what happens is that a metallurgist will heat up the silver, and he has to watch it carefully the whole time, because if he looks away, or if he abandons the silver while it's heating up, it can be destroyed. If it gets too hot, it can be destroyed. So the metalsmith guy has to watch it the whole time. But while it's heating up, the impurities come to the top. That's what you're speaking of. The impurities come to the top. And as the impurities come to the top, they'll take something like a feather and just skim off the top with a feather, and it will cause the silver to be more pure. And when he knows that it's done is when he sees his reflection. So that is, it's a really good analogy for how the Lord does allow us to go through trials. And even though we can feel abandoned in the midst of the trial.
He's described, he sits as a refiner of silver.
Yes.
So it's like, what does that even mean? And that's until he sees his image in us.
Yes, until we reflect his image. That's what.
The best thing.
It is the best thing. But that's a great analogy for what's going on with Job. These things that are coming to the top because the heat's turning up. The friends have really turned the heat up. And so, yeah, it's a great analogy. I agree. Where am I at?
17.
Look at you, 17. You renew your witness against me and increase your indignation towards me. Changes and war are ever with me. Why then have you brought me out of the womb? Oh, that I had perished and no eye had seen me. I would have been as though I had not been. I would have been carried from the womb to the grave. Are not my days few? Cease, leave me alone, that I might take a little comfort. before I go to the place from which I shall not return, the land of darkness and the shadow of death, a land as dark as darkness itself, as the shadow of death without any order, where even the light is the darkness. Where even the light is the darkness. Okay.
Ooh, I like that David quotes that. If even the light would become darkness around me, I could not escape you. David quotes
And the
that
Psalm.
in Psalm 139.
David's so deep,
I love
man.
it.
The Psalms are great.
Ugh.
Don't
You are
ugh.
going to love it. Come on.
Okay, now we're
Because
getting into
all
Zophar.
this is
Oh.
giving me is shades of David's complaining and being like, God,
But
why
hit-
do you hate
but-
me?
It's so good.
It's whiny.
I can't talk about this right now. We're moving on. We're moving on.
Whiny?
Beowulf
Don't
is
be so
burning.
far. Let's
There's
find
no-
out. Stop your complaining, Joe. Don't be.
Exactly.
You just take everything you hold dear and near and don't whine about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just.
And you
I
have
don't- I
worms in
can't.
your flesh. Ugh. Okay. Zophar. You like this picture, y'all?
Yeah, I like that guy.
I don't know why. I think maybe because
I like that guy.
it just keeps getting worse and worse, and so
I
maybe
think
that's
he gets
why this.
sour, though.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I didn't read ahead.
Okay.
Is he sour?
They're all sour. Let's see.
He looks like
Then, this chapter 11. Zophar the Naamathite answered and said, should not a multitude of words be answered? And should a man full of talk be vindicated?
Is he talking about Joe?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this guy, I don't like him anymore.
I know. Should a man full of talk be vindicated? I cannot imagine Job. I just, his misery is that it is so low that I can't even like go there in my head
Mm-hmm.
with
But
these
would
people.
talk like
Ugh.
But he's talking about God. He's blaming God.
Wouldn't you at this point? At this?
It's so
Yes, but
gradual.
when he
has
says
a-
you-
It's a questioning.
But he
guilt.
says,
Yeah.
when you mock, should no one rebuke you.
was he mocking though?
He's not
It was so
yeah.
gradual. Like he's
Yeah.
jumping the gun. Like there was grace on that. I'm just when I pointed out, I'm like,
It's
he's
like a
starting to
questioning
get
blame.
there.
It's a questioning blame. Because he starts, because like everything's phrased as a question. He's questioning the blame of like, if I haven't done anything wrong, so we've already talked about the self-righteous side of it. If I haven't done anything wrong, then why are you doing
Job's
this?
responses get more and more. They gradually,
Yeah.
they go,
It goes from questioning to blame.
and then he's like, "All right, I got a bone to pick with you." At the end of it, he finally,
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. Look, I got chills even thinking about that
It's so
moment.
cool.
When God finally speaks, y'all, it just
I hate that medicine's right. I
Floors
don't think
you.
you can skip.
okay. I'm really like, just like what?
Don't.
All right.
Because it's the only way that makes the gradual shift make sense.
Yes.
It's the way
Okay.
you live.
Okay.
All right, Catherine hates it.
I
have
hate
no
it too.
comment.
I hate that you're right more.
Let's go.
All right. Well, we're blowing through some chapters tonight, so
Yeah,
just
it's good.
Don't.
but it goes all the way to like 37 or 38 before it shifts, before it actually changes.
We'll get there soon.
Okay. Y'all are putting pressure on me. Okay, here we go. Where am I at? Should your empty talk make men hold their peace? When you mock, should no one rebuke you? For you've said my doctrine is pure and I'm clean in your eyes, but oh, that God would speak and open his lips against you, and then he would show you the secrets of wisdom. For they would double your prudence. Know, therefore, that God exacts from you less than your iniquity deserves. So he's actually saying, I know. Yes.
Finger wagging.
He-
How dare.
His, yes, finger wagging speech implies, this is the only one I can think of, implies that Job is a hypocrite and is actually getting less than what he deserves. That's what he just said. He's like, you're,
What
yeah.
more can happen to this man?
What are you gonna do to him next?
I know, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Burn all of his clothes.
Uh,
Still out naked. No underwear for you.
Next one.
like Malcolm in the Middle, no pillows. Like, we're already grounded. All right, no pillows. Like, it was a great show. Anyway.
Oh, I'm laughing at this horrible
I know
despair.
it's horrible. You just have to find a little humor every now and then because it's just so bad. So he's saying, Job, you're getting less than what you deserve. Can you search out the deep things of God, and can you find out the limits of the Almighty? They are higher than the heaven. What can you do? Deeper than Sheol. What can you know? Their measure is longer than the earth and broader than the sea. If he passes by, imprisons and gathers to judgment, then who can hinder him? For he knows deceitful men. He sees wickedness also. Will he not consider it? For an empty-headed man will be wise when a wild donkey's colt is born a man. He's saying Job is stupid. He's saying that comparing him to a wild donkey's colt. An empty-headed man will be wise when a... He's basically, it's the ancient way of saying when pigs fly. When a wild donkey's colt is born a man. Golly. Calling him stupid. If you would prepare your heart and stretch out your hand towards him, if iniquity were in your hand and you put it far away, and would not let wickedness dwell in your tents, then surely you could lift up your face without spot. Yes, you could be steadfast and not fear, because you would forget your misery. And remember, it is as waters that have passed away, and your life would be brighter than noonday. Though you were dark, you would be like the morning, and you would be secure because there is hope. Yes, you would dig around and you would take your rest in safety. You would also lie down and no one would make you afraid. Yes, many would court your favor, but the eyes of the wicked will fail, and they shall not escape, and their hope, loss of life. Then Job answers and said, no doubt you are the people, and you are the people, and wisdom will die with you. So he's being sarcastic. No doubt you're the people, and wisdom will die with you. But I have understanding as well as you. I'm not inferior to you. Indeed, who does not know such thing as these? I am one mocked by his friends, who called on God, and he answered him, a just and blameless who is ridiculed. A lamp is despised in the thought of one who is at ease. Okay, he is saying that they don't understand because they haven't been there. It's like the blind attempting to speak about color they've never seen. They have not experienced where he is. We should remember this lesson when we encounter someone going through something we have never experienced. And I have, when the woman's caught in adultery and they drag her out in front of Jesus, and when he says, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. And the older men dropped their stones first, and then eventually everybody else did. It's because the older you get, life is humbling. Life is humbling. And the older you get, the more you realize you don't know anything. It's just like you kind of start out, most of us do. Most of us start out thinking that we know everything, thinking we've got things figured out, or that we have a course in mind, and it's going to be this way. But life doesn't go by our rules. It doesn't follow our plans. And so it's humbling. Yes. Oh.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So all that to say, I look back on things, more and more, y'all, I look back on things and I'm so embarrassed by my actions and the things I did with, things I did when I was young, and there's no way to really change it or to account for it. And I'm like, things that make you too ashamed to even go back and apologize for it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just admit it. There's things I did as a young person that I'm too embarrassed to even go back to these people and apologize for it, because it's just, I don't even know how to face them at this point and say, yeah, about that. Sorry, but anyway, all that to say, anyone going through anything, we should never, the older I get, the more I hold my tongue. I just hold my tongue. Especially if someone is experiencing something that I have never experienced. We just don't know. You just don't know what it's like. Okay. It is made ready for those whose feet slip. The tents of robbers prosper, and those who provoke God are secure in what God provides by his hand. Okay, so he's saying, and this is not the only place in the Old Testament, look around and see that the wicked prosper. And even nature testifies that God deals as he pleases. Basically, the rain falls on the righteous and the unrighteous alike. So even nature testifies that God is favorable to everyone. It's like he gives blessings. He gives air, water. He gives these blessings to everyone, the righteous and the unrighteous. And the fact that the wicked seem to prosper is the age-old question, even still to this day. Yes.
The wisdom books. Ecclesiastes and Job says that thing. That, like, life's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
But Proverbs is, do this and this will happen, and do this and that will happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only wisdom book that's really, like, cut and dry, but it's like, wait a minute. But you have to compare Proverbs to these books. You have to apply them both, because...
Right.
Proverbs isn't promises.
Exactly. Proverbs are not promises.
Right.
So it's not as cut and dry.
Well, but you don't know that unless you compare them to
Right.
the other wisdom books. Unless you have to take all 3 wisdom books into account.
Right.
Because
The
it
full-
doesn't ever say Proverbs aren't promises.
The full counsel of God.
Yes.
The full counsel. Yes. Partial theology is actually,
like,
or
just
partial,
taking Proverbs and
Yes.
just like, oh, I read the Proverbs and I read John and that's it.
yeah.
And then, like,
Which is a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah.
So does that include Song of Solomon? Sorry.
No, that's not a wisdom book.
Yes, it
Is
is.
Song of Solomon a wisdom book?
I don't know how.
It's included
In the
in,
wisdom books.
yeah.
What?
We can do Song of Solomon if
I
y'all
thought
want to.
it
There's
was-
some.
I thought it was just.
She doesn't want to do Song. She's like, please don't do Song of Solomon.
Taylor said maybe you would.
I don't want to learn about breasts that are towels.
Me? I'm so confused why it's in the Bible. Truly.
We should
Just on that one phrase.
What did he say?
He said we should have a whole lesson on that.
No. Actually, so I heard a really great comparison, and if we ever do, I'm not saying I'm going to do it. If we ever did do Song of Solomon, if you guys want to,
because there's so many questions about it.
I know. Listen. If you want to read it for yourself, and keep in mind that there is a potentially a end times eschatology, because the bride is Christ. The bridegroom is Christ. The bride is the church. There is an end times eschatology. You can kind of compare it to like end times prophecies.
Okay, fine.
Wait, are you trying to say that the groom and the bride in the entire book is us in Christ?
Yes.
No.
you
You are telling a story.
She's gonna walk
That is
out.
not it.
She's gonna walk out.
So,
She's gonna walk out.
We could
No.
just pause Job right here and
That's
dive into Song of
crazy.
Solomon.
That's insane.
Let's
People
move on
think
with
that-
Job.
That's
Mhm.
creepy.
Let's
Moving
go back
on.
back
I'm
to
sorry.
Job. Back
You
to
can't say the
these.
Bible's creepy. It is. That's weird.
Hey.
That's not even gonna be in heaven. So how does that
Calm
even make
down.
sense? Moving on.
Because it's a foreshadowing. It's prophetic. Shush.
Okay.
You need to go back and read it then.
To the
Okay.
pure, listen. To the
Down the
pure.
cells.
To the pure, all things are pure. Wait, I'm trying to say something. I'm so distracted by that.
It's her.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, it's
It's our
okay.
fault we did it on purpose.
To the pure, all things are pure, meaning
Yes.
that pure love
Yes.
is pure. It's
Yes.
not. It's
a
not.
perverted
It's
love.
not pornography.
Just
you know what I'm saying?
because it's interpreted like that, it's not.
Jesus
Right.
does not see me like that.
It's this culture.
He's not-
Look,
Jesus
this.
doesn't see me like that.
Listen,
I know
listen.
I'm taking my glasses off.
This culture imposes its own dirty mind on everything
Yep.
else. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Oh,
not.
shit,
It's not that. It's not that.
What are we talking about?
Pure. Anyway,
Swear, my name
I give
is
up.
Pure.
We're
Moving
gonna go
on.
back to Job. I give up. Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No,
that
it's
Taylor
okay.
did that to
Bunch
you,
of
and it was my
kids.
fault because I said something to Taylor about it.
Oh no, I also
I read
wanted.
Ecclesiastes recently.
No, I also wanted to
It's
put Madison's Missing
Mariah's.
Sisters.
It's Mariah's favorite book. Maybe we'll do that one next. Ecclesiastes fun.
I love Ecclesiastes.
No.
You can just do
I'm
it
just
in
going
one.
wisdom.
One
She said that only
class.
3 was in
Ecclesi-
It's only what,
Maybe.
12?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
12.
No,
Yeah.
Don't forget this
Bam.
one.
We'll talk after class. Meet me outside. How about that?
Catch me outside.
Look, there's not often times that I get to be like, Psst,
Oh yeah, sure.
All right.
not with this one.
The wicked prosper.
Me all the time.
We could go into that we could go deep into that, but we're not going to tonight.
Where
We
are
could look and see that the wicked prosper. That's the notes, not the verse,
Oh.
the note. And even nature testifies that God deals with who he pleases. But one of the reasons why it seems like the wicked prosper, and when you're in a trial, because I've been there, not like this, but just a trial. And you look around and you're like, why do they seem to have it's like everything's fine, but they've got all this stuff going right. Why does it seem like,
I've done that.
and they don't even believe in you. They're in this heathenistic lifestyle and they're not, they don't even honor you. So I don't understand why they're getting all this good stuff and why my life is so difficult at every turn.
This world isn't for us.
One of the main reasons is that God, he's not the refiner of them because they're not his kids. He's the refiner of his own. He doesn't bother to put them in the refiner's fire. That's really, really sad. That's why they seem to be impetuously immature forever and ever, the wicked, because they've never been matured. All right. But now ask the beast and they will teach you. Ask the birds of the air and they will tell you. Or speak to the earth and it will teach you. And the fish of the sea will explain to you. Who among all these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this? And whose is the life of every living thing and the breath of all mankind? Does not the ear test words and the mouth taste food? Wisdom is with aged men, and with the length of days, understanding. Job is saying that he understands God as fully as they do, but admits there's a lot he still doesn't understand. So he's going back and forth like any of us, I think, would. He's, it's like in that, under this much pressure, he's weaving a little bit, but you can understand why. I mean, good grief, it took this much pressure for him to do it. You got to still be impressed with him, With him are wisdom and strength, and he has counsel and understanding. If he breaks the thing down, it cannot be rebuilt. If he imprisons a man, there can be no release. If he withholds the waters, they dry up. If he sends them out, they overwhelm the earth. And with him are strength and prudence. The deceived and the deceiver are his. He leads counselors away plundered, and he makes fools of the judges. He loosens the bonds of kings and binds their waist with a belt. He leads princes away plundered and overthrows the mighty. He deprives the trusted ones of speech and takes away the discernment of the elders. He pours contempt on princes and disarms the mighty. He uncovers deep things out of darkness and brings the shadow of death to light. He makes nations great and destroys them. Oh man, y'all. Can I say that again? He makes nations great and destroys them. He enlarges nations and guides them, and he takes away the understanding of the chiefs of the peoples of the earth and makes them wander in a pathless wilderness. That happened to Nebuchadnezzar. They grope around in the dark without light, and he makes them stagger like a drunken man. Behold, my eye has seen all this. Do what? Okay, I'm
We're
gonna
good.
whatever she said. I'm gonna skip it.
Oh,
Mhm.
can we go? Okay.
Dylan said, okay. Behold, my eye has seen all this, and my ear has heard and understood it. What you know, I also know. I'm not inferior to you, but I would speak to the Almighty, and I desire to reason with God. But you, forgers of lies, you are all worthless physicians. Oh, that you would be silent, and it would be your wisdom. Now hear my reasoning and heed the pleadings of my lips. Will you speak wickedly for God and talk deceitfully for him? And will you show partiality for him? Will you contend for God? And will it be well when he searches you out? Or can you mock him as one mocks a man? He will surely rebuke you and secretly show partiality. Will not his excellence make you afraid and the dread of him fall on you? Your platitudes and proverbs of ashes. Your defenses are defenses of clay. Man, that'll preach. Hold your peace with me and let me speak. Let me come let come on me what may. Why do I take my flesh in my teeth and put my life in my hands? Though he slay me, yet I will trust him. Even so, I will defend my own ways before him. So that line right there is one of the most famous verses of Job. Though he slay me, I will trust him. And yet, even so, I'll defend my own ways before him. He also shall be my salvation, for a hypocrite cannot come before him. Listen carefully to my speech and to the declaration with your ears. See now, I have prepared my case. I know that I shall be vindicated. Who is he that will contend with me? If I hold my tongue, I perish. This is the notes. These comforters should stop arguing and hold their peace. They would help more with their silence. They're also rigid in their theology. They're only increasing his torment.
So that was Job's response to his friends, right?
Yeah.
And he was okay. So he's going back against, talking against God and like saying, regardless of what happens,
Yes.
he's still riding for him.
Yes. Yes. This is also notes. Okay, Job will make two requests: that God would stop his pain and anguish, and that God would veil his presence so that Job would not be terrified by the awesomeness of a mighty God. So it's so neat that he's like, I want a court date with you, God, but I'm asking for mercy that you would veil your presence, because he has that much fear of God. He knows that if I stand before God, I'm just going to just be dust. Verse 20. Only two things do not do to me, then I will not hide myself from you. Withdraw your hand far from me, and let not the dread of you make me afraid. Then call, and I will answer, or let me speak, then you respond to me. How many are my iniquities and my sins? Make me know my transgression and my sin. Okay, here's notes again. In any court of law, a prisoner has the right to know the charges against him. And he had been proclaimed innocent by God before Satan. Innocent. That doesn't mean not without sin. It means justified because of, he had done what he was supposed to do.
Acting in ignorance too.
Yes. But do not, where am I at? He proclaimed innocent. He's still under the assumption that there must be some sin that he hadn't answered for. Okay, so Job at this point is still assuming that there's got to be some sin that he's not aware of, that he hasn't answered for. Why do you hide your face and regard me as your enemy? Will you frighten a leaf driven to and fro? And will you pursue dry stubble? For you write bitter things against me and make me inherit the iniquities of my youth. Wow. So he's like, the sins of my youth are catching up to me, and now I've got to pay for, man. I think we've all felt that a time or two. You put my feet in the stocks and watch closely all my paths. You set a limit for the soles of my feet. Man decays like a rotten thing, like a garment that is moth-eaten. Man who is born of woman is a few days and full of trouble. He comes forth like a flower and fades away. He flees like a shadow and does not continue. And do you open your eyes on such a one and bring me to judgment with yourself? Who can bring a clean thing out of unclean? Wow. No one. Since his days are determined, the number of his months is with you. You've appointed his limits so that he cannot pass. Look away from him that he may rest. Like a hired man, he finishes his day. For there is hope for a tree. If it's cut down, it'll sprout again, and its tender shoots will not cease. Though its root may grow old in the earth, and its stump may die in the ground, yet the scent of water, at the scent of water, it will bud. It will bring forth branches like a plant. But a man dies and is laid away. Indeed, he breathes his last, and where is he? As water disappears from the sea, and the river becomes parched and dries up, so man lies down and does not rise, till the heavens are no more. They will not awake, nor be roused from their sleep. Oh, that you would hide me in the grave, that you would conceal me until your wrath is past, that you will appoint me a set time and remember me. If a man dies, shall he live again? And the days of my in all the days of my hard service, I will wait till my change comes. So sit there just for a minute, because he knows that there's a day. He's really, he's going deep. He realizes that even a tree dies, and it can be cut to the stump, and if the roots are still in the ground, at the scent of water, it'll bud. But if a man dies, a man is gone. But yet, if a man dies, he is saying that you would appoint me a set time and remember me. That you would appoint a set time and remember. Basically, he's alluding to a future resurrection. He's saying, Lord, that you would appoint a set time and then resurrect me. So there's an interesting tie-in in Isaiah 26:19. This also speaks of, it hints towards a coming possible rapture. I believe that this is what this means. You guys can chew on it and get what you want from it, but this is what I believe. Your dead shall live together with my, this is Isaiah speaking. Together with my dead body they shall arise. Awake and sing, you who dwell in the dust, for your dew is like the dew of the herbs, and the earth shall cast out the dead. Come, my people, enter your chambers and shut your doors behind you. Hide yourself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation is past. For behold, the Lord comes out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also will disclose her blood, and will cover her, and no more will cover her slain. So
that is what that is.
it's totally a reference to a future rapture.
It's the resurrection.
It's the resurrection. Come, my people, and come, shut the door behind you.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see this later in Job, of a resurrection body. So this is, even though this is later in Job, it's chapter 19. I'm going to tie it in. 19:25 says, "For I know that my Redeemer lives, and he shall stand at last on the earth. And after my skin is destroyed, this I know, that in my flesh I shall see God, whom I shall see for myself, and my eyes shall behold, and not another. How my heart yearns within me."
Ugh.
That's crazy. I mean, he's, yeah. Man, one of these days when we meet Job, he's got us all beat with integrity, I think. I mean, this is some,
Yeah.
this is some kind of test, And for
Yeah.
him, he gets upset, but then he lands, and he lands. I know my Redeemer lives. I know there's a day that I'll stand in my flesh. I'll be resurrected in my flesh. I'll see God. 15, you shall call and I'll answer you. Ugh. You shall desire the work of your hands. For now you number my steps, but do not watch over my sin. My transgression is sealed up in a bag, and you cover my iniquity. But as mountain falls and crumbles away, and as a rock is moved from its place, as water wears away stones, and as torrents wash away the soil of the earth, so you destroy the hope of man. You prevail forever against him, and he passes on. You change his countenance and send him away. His sons come to honor, and he does not know it. They are brought low, and he does not perceive it. But his flesh will be in pain over it, and his soul will mourn over it. That's the end of this one. So we got through, what was that, 14? How far did we go?
That's really good.
14.
Yeah, 6 through 14.
Okay, 6 through 14.
We did
So
that
we're trying to get through it, but also kind of stop at the journey is a lot. The journey is a lot. But the pauses, the rest stops are worth the lesson.
Yeah.
They're worth the lesson. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to see for the next session how I can do this without making it just dry, because this Elihu's going to be a whole other thing. That'll be interesting. But there's some chapters of this. It goes on for a while of this. But you're right. The journey is worth it. So let me just see. I'll go home and I'll chew on it and see how to organize it. But it's worth, especially right now in the times that we're in, it's definitely worth it's worth these lessons. We need to know it. We need to know it. So do y'all have comments or questions?
A bunch.
What?
I mean, I kind of resonate with Job, with everything going on in my personal life and stuff right now. Like, I was essentially stripped of everything but my children and my dog. And I started fresh, and I feel it. It's hard, but in that trial, I found God again after 16 years.
Right.
So it's refreshing.
Yeah.
To know that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess the questions would be why would he call these people his friends?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
bad mouthing him, calling all of his faith and stuff into question, and calling him, worse than dirt and whatnot.
Isn't it in a trial when you realize who your friends are and who's not?
Oh, so he's just not there yet.
Well, he knows now. He knows now, but they probably had no reason to argue before this. And obviously we see that his friends were obviously jealous of him before this, because they're there. They're definitely in collusion. They had made an appointment to go see him.
Oh, they had all talked beforehand.
Yes. They had heard of his calamity, and they had made an appointment to come together and go see him at the same time.
And Job's middle-aged at this point, right? 40s, 50s?
At least, because he's telling them, he's like, I'm not inferior to you. He's saying he's at least.
Elder.
Yes, I'm also an elder, so yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's old enough to have 10 kids, whatever that means. You know what I'm saying? So he's no newbie.
Had, right?
Had.
And
To have had.
I mean, I don't know.
Doesn't it Job get everything returned in droves afterwards?
Yeah, he basically is. He will be blessed double. He'll get back double. Now, any of us who have children know that nothing replaces. There's no replacement for a child. But one of the things we talked about last week is how they're not really gone. They're waiting for him, and they're reunited. Once Job does pass on, then for us it's ancient history now. But they're reunited now.
Yeah.
It's hard in that kind of, I don't want to ever know that kind of loss. I pray that I never know that kind of loss. But it is comforting to know for anyone who has experienced it. I have clients several who've lost kids, and I don't know how some of them I truly don't know how they are walking around. It's the stuff that they've been through. But they know, they take comfort in knowing that there will be they'll reunite with them. There will be a day they're reunited, and it will be like there's no time lost. Somehow or another, only God can do that. Only God can renew those days and make it so that you haven't lost any time at all. We feel like, it's like missing this, I'm missing that. You guys know, I mean, as you guys lost your dad, and as I watched you guys grow up and miss your dad for all of the milestones of your lives, through growing up and becoming a woman, graduations, careers, for Elizabeth, for marriage and children. So there's all those milestones and all those things that you feel like, that are gone, and you never get them back. But somehow or another, when we get there, it's restored, there never was an absence. So
It doesn't take away from, but
it doesn't take away from the
the
loss
only
now,
thing,
but it's a
I
hope
think
we
what you're-
have.
Like what you're saying is,
Yeah.
like, there's not the absence, but when you have God, like, I don't think going through something like they went through with that, they would have, like, without the Lord, just would have been
Oh,
a
man.
disaster.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing's for sure is that the Lord truly, truly, truly takes up kids as his own in any kind of circumstance where a child needs a good father, whatever the circumstance is, or even a good mother, or good what. God just scoops him up and he takes him as his own. And there's so many things I can look back on that I'm glad, I'm appreciative now that it was God himself who carried me through years, because the outcome was better had it been any other person. The outcome was better. It didn't make it easier, and it wasn't what I wanted. To be completely honest, it wasn't what I wanted. But the outcome was better in the end. Okay. I still haven't fixed this. What?
Whoops, I'm supposed to fix it, right?
How can you fix it? I had it in my car.
Should've
you take things on yourself that you don't
Whoops.
need to.
That was my responsibility somehow.
Okay. I love you guys. I hope that you guys are good with it. I hope that it's getting across the
Yes.
thing. Okay,
Yes, it's good.
love, love, love. Hang in there. The end of this book is so worth the journey. You won't for it's the things you'll never forget.
I love it.
So worth the journey. And if you love things like dinosaurs and dragons, you'll be shocked. Love, love, love. Goodbye.